Senior Showcase, and just honored today to have Ermina Hassan. How are you, Ermina?
Good, how are you?
Great, and really feel privileged to have you here. And first of all, would love for you just to share what you've been involved with the last 4 years and introduce yourself.
Sure. So, hi everyone, I'm Ermina. I'm going to be going to Loyola University next year, majoring in neuroscience and going pre-med. Some things that I've been involved in for the past 4 years, I was president of National Honor Society, president of Med Club, captain of the speech team. I was in Spanish National Honor Society, a cappella choir, I was in the musical, and I was also a GEMS ambassador this past year.
Well, that's terrific. So you had shared earlier with me kind of your involvement with GEMS and being an ambassador. Can you share with the group here what that involves and what that entails?
Sure. So as a GEMS ambassador, my job was to encourage middle school girls to pursue a career in STEM. So at the conference that was at Prairie Grove High School a couple months ago, all these girls came to us and we engaged them in different STEM-related activities and speeches and showcases just to get them excited about the STEM field and show them that it's worth pursuing.
Now, what made you decide that you want to pursue the STEM field?
So for me, I did a lot of volunteer work in hospitals and stuff. I put over 200 service hours toward it. And so I realized that something that I want to do in the future is give back to my community. And that in combination with like my love for science, I was like, medicine sounds about right. So I kind of figured it out just based off my two interests there.
Tell me a little bit about your volunteer time and what you did there.
So I was a volunteer at Northwest Community Hospital as a clinical assistant. So it was a dentist's office. So I was the one who held the suction and the water while the dentist was like doing their stuff in your mouth. And then I also volunteered at Mercy Hospital where I was an administrative assistant. So like that's organizing paperwork and just like talking to patients on the phone or just helping them get to where they needed to go and within the hospital.
Well, that's awesome. Now, there might be people out there that want to get into that field and want to get that volunteer time, because I know that's always a challenge, especially when students are trying to get to med school and such. How did you go about getting that volunteer time at Northwest Community and at Mercy?
So I did a lot of research. So I just sat down one day and I started Googling so much about different opportunities that were in the area. And this clinical assistant program was a summer program. So I went every day for a couple of weeks and put in about 60 to 70 hours for the clinical assistant one. And then for Mercy, I was able to contact the main volunteer coordinator there. And she had me come in every weekend and help her out with anything. So basically I just stayed consistent throughout the 4 years, and then I got to know everyone who got to work there, and then through there I made all my relationships and they helped me get my service hours.
Wow, that is awesome. Good for you.
Thanks.
And just so you know, I'm not hitting a bell here on the side when she's doing buzzword.
I'm not so sure what that is either.
but that's okay. I didn't want people to think like, oh, it's a game. Every time she says medicine, boom, we hit it fingers. So no, we're not doing that. I know you had mentioned you're president of Med Club, and that started 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So tell me kind of what went into that for you. Were you kind of instrumental in starting that, or what happened?
So my junior year, there was 2 other senior girls who were interested in starting it up. So they were the ones who actually got the program started, but I was on the initial board. I was a secretary for the first year. So that was just like the big getting things together, like what do we want to do? And then once we got like a good curriculum sort of laid out, this year I was elected as president, and that's where I was able to bring in a lot of speakers that I've come into contact with while volunteering, and they were able to talk to the student body about what they do in their lives as a doctor or as a nurse or a surgeon, and get them once again excited about pursuing a career in medicine.
That's awesome. So give an example of a couple people you've had come in and speak.
So I shadowed Dr. Dehan at Mercy Hospital over the summer. So I asked him to come in, and he's an orthopedic surgeon. So he gave a quick 30 to 40 minute lecture about what he does and like why he chose orthopedic surgery. And then we had a little Q&A session after that. And then I also had my mom go in. She's a dentist. So she also gave her 30 to 40 minute lecture about her life and what she does and how she got involved in becoming a dentist and everything. So
So
yeah.
with mom being a dentist, is
Mhm.
she pushing you away from that field, or is she kind of hoping that her daughter comes and gets into practice with her?
She tried for a long time. She tried to get me a dentist, but I was like, I can't spend that much time in someone's mouth. It's too much.
So instead, if we look 10 years out, right? Well, 10 years out, you'll probably still be in med school or in
Mhm.
your specialty,
Just
right?
finishing up, yeah.
Yeah. So what specialty are you so let's say we're 15 years out.
Okay.
Where are you? What are you doing? What's your ideal
Um,
line of medicine?
I think for right now, I'm interested in dermatology or cardiology. I feel like those are like unique fields where I would get a good um, patient inflow and everything. So those two fields are my top right now, but who knows what the future holds? Anything's possible.
Gotcha. And okay, president of speech team, or captain. Sorry,
Captain.
captain of speech team. What was your specialty in speech? I've been learning more about what people in speech do. So tell me about that.
Sure. So I do or did impromptu speaking, which is when you walk into your room and you are given 3 quotes, and your job is to write a 6-minute speech about one of those quotes in 2 minutes, and then perform that 6-minute speech. Yeah.
Do you remember the most unique quote you had to do a speech on?
Most of them are pretty common when it comes to themes like perseverance or don't give up or uniqueness or something along those lines. So there hasn't been, I can't think of anyone that's out there. They're
Oh,
pretty classic.
all right, I'm gonna throw you off, and we'll see how impromptu you are
Okay,
now.
okay.
Give me a scenario where it was just hilarious about something that happened to either you or a teammate. And you don't have to out your teammate if it was embarrassing, but a situation that you just thought, boy, that was funny, and I'm going to remember that all my
Sure,
life.
sure. So this is actually about Lauren. At our last speech meet, we decided we both do impromptu speaking, but we decided to like push the limits a little bit, and we signed up for impromptu duet acting, which is the same idea, but you're with a partner and you have to act out a scene and then plan everything in 2 minutes and act out that scene. So we were doing it and we go up and I was like, Lauren, we got this. Like, we're so funny. Like, we're going to kill this. And we get it. And we're just like, oh my God, we don't know what to do. So we, for some reason, put out this elaborate plot about how Lauren was I was a politician against shooting buffaloes, and Lauren was like this buffalo shooter, and she was like shooting at the buffaloes, and I was like telling her like, no, stop. And then at one point I started talking in an Indian accent for some reason because I thought that would be funny. It was such a mess, but at the end of the day, we did get second place. So I was like, well, thank you. We laughed at ourselves, but we'll humbly accept that trophy.
And for those that don't know, Ermina's referring to Lauren Pokanowski,
Yeah.
and who you might have seen in episode 6 of
Mhm.
this. So, and Lauren was instrumental
Yeah.
in convincing Ermina to give it a try here as well.
Mhm.
So, okay, so which one did you feel? So, did you do that for 4 years?
No, that was just a one-time thing. Impromptu speaking, I did for all 4 years.
Got it. Now, what would you say to an incoming junior high kid right now that's thinking about things to do at school? And you could gear it towards speech or anything you wanted to go
Um,
for.
I would say, first of all, just get involved in as many things as you want, because I made so many friends through all my extracurriculars that they've become like my support system. And and don't be shy. When I was a freshman, I was so shy and I was so scared to put myself out there. But I realized that the more I do step out of my comfort zone, the more comfortable I get and the more confident I feel about myself and emerging, like to be able to talk to people and everything. So just don't be shy and just put yourself out there.
That's great. Now, were you shy in junior high?
Very. It was actually speech team. I was like, I need to muster up my public speaking skills, and that's why I joined speech team in the first place. And then from then to now, I'm just like, wow, I cannot believe that I was so shy freshman year. Like if you asked me to do this interview freshman year, I probably would have turned you down because I was just that insecure and shy. But I'm so glad that I was able to emerge from that shell and actually be able to express myself.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's outstanding. So, As you reflect back on faculty, staff, advisors, people that you've come across at PR, any one or two folks that really stick out that really had a positive impact on you?
For sure. There's so many, Mrs. Buck, Mr. Higgins, Mrs. Lacey, but I think the most special moment to me is Mrs. Hartnett, who is actually my speech team coach. And I've had the privilege of knowing her throughout all my 4 years. And she saw me as that insecure, shy freshman to who I've become today. And just the relationship that I've had with her and how much she supported me over the last 4 years is just so much. And I'm so grateful to her for everything that she's done.
Have you had a chance to tell her yet?
I have. She wrote my letter of rec, so I told her, I wrote a little email, like, thanks so much for everything that you do, Mrs. Hartnett. And if she does see this, Mrs. Hartnett, thank you so much. You are a lifesaver. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, Mrs. Buck and Mrs. Higgins, is that through National Honor Society where you had the most exposure? So yeah. Tell me about what your experience has been through National Honor Society for people, again, that don't know what that's all about or what it entails, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
So freshmen aren't eligible, unfortunately, but sophomore year, you will get your letter if your GPA is high enough. And I would recommend joining because that is where I got another large portion of my service hours. So when you do come in as a first-time member, you're going to have to organize your own service project about whatever you want to do. So for me, I made oral hygiene kits to donate at Northwest Community High School for impoverished school children, elementary school kids, but other people have made like dog toys to donate to their shelter, or cards for veterans, or anything along the lines of that. And then if you're still interested in going beyond just being a member, you can run for a board position. So for me, junior year, I was elected to be vice president, and then from there on, senior year, I became president. And as a board member, your job is to organize your meetings and make sure that your members are doing what they're supposed to, and everyone has their hours in on time, and just organizing any big service projects that you guys are doing as a group. And once again, develops a lot of important skills that you might need in the future.
Let's be honest, looks great on your college resume.
And that too.
Well, so to help you there. So that's terrific. And for those of you that are thinking about National Honor Society, just a warning to all the parents, having had 2 kids that go through it, I think I gave blood probably 20 times over my career at Prairie Ridge because of that.
You get a blood quota graduation if you donate. So I had my fair share of people. Everyone always knows when it's the blood drive time because the National Honor Society members are going crazy, like, I have to find my 3 donors. And so everyone gets asked like a bajillion times.
That, or I think there was a Giorgio's night in there too, something like that.
We didn't have one this year, but yeah.
Okay, got
probably.
It. So spending a lot of time with the quarantine now, and so it's brought a ton of unique challenges. What have you learned about yourself going through that process now that you didn't realize?
Definitely that if I put my mind to something, I can definitely do it. Like before quarantine, I never cooked or baked or anything. I was more of just the eater after my mom cooked. But after quarantine, I was like, you know what, I'll dabble. I'll just try some new things out. And not to flex or anything, but I made broccoli cheddar soup the other day, and it was surprisingly good. Like if it came down to my soup versus Panera soup, I'll humbly accept the trophy. Thank you.
That's awesome. I was thinking that right away. I was thinking of Panera soup.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what goes into yours? What's the secret to good broccoli cheddar soup?
Secret. Definitely it's how much you blend your vegetables beforehand, because personally I like my soup to be a little thicker, so I don't blend it as much, so it's more of like a thick consistency. That's just me.
Okay.
And then you have to add a lot of cheese. The cheese is very important. The cheddar.
And just tons of cheddar.
Yeah.
Got it. Any desserts?
I've been doing a lot of baking from scratch instead of using like the classic box mix. So I made brownies, I made some cupcakes. I made a flourless chocolate cake, which was like a healthy option, which turned out pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. So does that mean everyone in the Hassan family has put on a few extra pounds over quarantine, or?
You could definitely say that, but not for me. You didn't hear me.
All right. We won't throw any of your family members under the bus. So speaking of family members, you mind sharing kind of different family, who your family consists of?
Sure. So it's me, obviously. And then I have a younger brother who is currently a third grader at Hussman. And then my parents are both immigrants from Pakistan, and they immigrated here about 19-ish years ago. My dad's a doctor, and my mom's a dentist. And then we have a cat. His name is Blue. And that's our short little family, small little family.
Gotcha. So with your parents both being in the medical field, how has everything that everyone's going through, what specialty is your dad involved in?
My dad is a primary care physician
Okay.
with a specialty in geriatrics. So yeah.
So he's been still very active during this time then as well, right?
Yes. So for him, he's doing telemedicine. So he just goes to his office and he FaceTimes his patients. So he's thankfully not endangering himself too much when it comes to coronavirus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So has dad tried to influence you regarding your medical future as well?
Well, not influence. I think I got there on myself, but he always jokes against my mom, like, "Oh, look, she chose mine over you," just like a small family joke there. But too much. They've both been so supportive, and they're like, "Go for it," and they just push me to make sure that I do my best in whatever endeavors that I choose to pursue. And so, yeah.
Great. Now, have there been any Hassan family traditions that have come out of the quarantine now?
We have played so many board games that like my brother, it's embarrassing how many times my brother has beaten me in like Uno or like spoons or something. Like I would expect like a 17-year-old girl to be able to beat a 9-year-old kid, but I'm embarrassed. That's all.
Well, Uno's a game of chance, so you just
Yeah.
got to make sure you're not sitting
Yeah,
right
yeah,
next
yeah.
to your brother every game.
Mhm.
So has Uno been the primary fun game, or
We've
is
played
there?
Uno, we've played Clue, we've played a lot of my dad. He used to play a lot of card games when he was younger, so he's brought a few of those into the mix. We've just dabbled in everything.
Got it. And I know you're an avid reader. So what's the book on your nightstand now that you're reading?
I just finished reading Kite Runner, actually, and I'm about to start reading Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut.
Okay, now who you said Kite Rider? I'm sorry.
Kite Runner, yeah.
Oh, Kite Runner. Okay, who's that by?
Khaled Hosseini. He's an
And,
Afghanistani writer.
okay,
Yeah.
got it. As you look back on your memories over the last couple of years at PR, what events or times really stand out for you?
For me, I can't really think of a specific moment. It's just all those small memories here and there of like me laughing with my friends during class and like all the accumulation of all the inside jokes that I've come together, and definitely just all the relationships that I've made with each individual person just stand out to me so much, especially now that I don't see them every day. I'm just like, wow, like this friendship was so important, or like I'm so grateful for all these teachers and who I had the opportunity to talk to every day about my problems and my issues and all like the good memories that have come out of that.
Great. And when you brought up all the laughter and the fun times,
Yeah.
what teacher would people be surprised that person's pretty funny? They've got a good sense of humor that really threw me off. Who would that be?
So right now I'm in AP Stats, and Mr. Zier is a teacher for that. And so he's so funny because he always talks about his daughter and how all the funny stories that come together with her. And then Mrs. Brocklin is also so funny. I remember freshman year I was so intimidated by her, but then this year I had her again. And our chem class and her, we're just like a squad now. Like she tells us all these crazy stories about when in her life and then about past students, and it's just such a blast to be in that class.
Okay. Now you've heard the phrase once a wolf, always a wolf. And now as you're coming up on officially graduating and becoming an alum, what meaning does that phrase take on for you?
So for me, when my time at PR has really brought out my personality and how my outgoingness to say. So I feel like to be a wolf means to find yourself, because I've really found myself these past 4 years, and through all the memories and all the friends and teachers that I've had the opportunity to be friends with, they have just influenced me in a way that is really pushing me to be my best self. And to be a wolf just means to be your best self and to find the things that truly make you passionate and push you forward and really make you you.
Well said. Now you're going to be attending Loyola, so you're going to be staying on. You will be on the north side of town, right? You're not
Right.
going to be all the undergrad stuff's on the north part. What other schools did you look at prior to making your decision?
Sure. So I was looking at a few schools in Ohio, including Case Western. I was looking at St. Louis University in St. Louis, and then Marquette, UW-Madison. Mostly I was staying in the Midwest because I didn't want to go too far from home, but it came down to Loyola at the end.
And what did it? What put Loyola over the top?
So for me, I really want to get involved in research during my undergrad career. So Loyola is like one of the biggest research institutions in Chicago. And also the scholarship they gave me was a lifesaver. So I definitely wanted to use that.
Are you already sporting the Rambler colors? I can't tell if that's
This
a
is
Rambler.
orange, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Orange, but yeah.
So getting close.
Getting close, yeah.
So I like asking everyone, what's that one thing that people would be surprised to know about you? That hidden trait or something that just someone doesn't realize about you?
I would say that people know me, but they didn't know I was bilingual, maybe. I feel like that's a fun fact. I speak Urdu at home. I'm fluent in it. Just classic fun fact there. I don't really utilize it that much in my daily life, but maybe that's a surprising fact.
Okay, so how would you then wish your fellow classmates the best in Urdu?
In Urdu, I would say "Aap log bahut achhe" or "Good luck." I cannot think of how to say good luck, but I'm just gonna say "Aap log bahut achhe."
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
Terrific.
I guess another fun fact is my service hours. I applied for the U.S. Congressional Award, and I was awarded to me from Representative Lauren Underwood a couple months ago, which was really cool experience.
That's awesome. What was that ceremony like, or was it affected by the COVID?
Fortunately, it happened before coronavirus happened. So it was just my family was there, and she was there, and she gave like a speech just to introduce me, and then she awarded me the medal, and I was like, wow, this is surreal.
Oh, that's awesome. So exactly, I know you said was that for 200 hours you had said?
It was, so the award has 4 parts. So one is community service hours. Then there's physical fitness and making sure that your physical well-being is good. And then they have a personal goal for you to reach, and as long as you put time towards making yourself a better person. And then they have an exploration portion, which is just immersing yourself in a new type of environment. So I checked off those 4 categories, and I was able to win the award.
What was the new environment you immersed yourself in?
We went to Alaska over the summer, so it was like a new environmental environment, like literally. So I was able to experience the new weather and the nature, and even the culture with the native Alaskans there. It was like a new immersion for me, which was really cool.
Awesome. Where did you go exactly in Alaska?
We went to Anchorage, and we went to Seward, just like the some of the coastal cities as well.
Oh, what a great memory. What a great memory. So one last quarantine question. Is there a go-to, I know you've been doing a lot of cooking, but is there a certain takeout that you're like, hey, that's the best, that my go-to?
So my dad has been really against takeout because we're all so paranoid about the corona thing. Sure. But one thing that I do miss is my Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. I'm looking forward to the day I can drink it again.
So you haven't tried to sneak through the drive-thru at Dunkin' Donuts for your iced coffee yet. So. All right, so if anyone sees Ermina sneaking through the drive-thru, don't narc her out.
Don't tell my dad.
Hey, it was a real pleasure. I just want to thank you so much for sharing. You're a wonderful example for the class of 2020, and just wish you nothing but success in the future.
Thanks so much for having me.
No, my pleasure. All right, thanks, Ermina.
Bye.
Everybody just